Hey there, my name is Megan and welcome to my channel, or welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing the intimidating TBR book tag. It is 2025, it is a new year, so it is time to evaluate what books are on my TBR pile. But before we go ahead and get on into the prompts, if you're not already subscribed to my channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button, as well as giving this video a like to throw my channel a little bit of support. There are 9 prompts in this tag, so let's go ahead and get on into it. The first one is a book that is on your TBR pile that you haven't yet finished. For me, that is The Vampire Lestat by Anne Rice. I think I stopped reading this about 2 years ago, and I got to page 242, and it's kind of ironic because The Interview with the Vampire is one of my favorite books of all time, and this is my second attempt at reading The Vampire Lestat. I was a teenager, I think, when I tried to read it the first time, but I DNF'd it, and I DNF'd it again. This is definitely a heavy read, so you kind of have to be in the right mindset when you're going into it. And also, it just was slow. It's very slow. I think that's why I stopped reading it the first time. So it's slow, it's heavy, but I do want to finish it because I do want to get through all 3 books in the Vampire Chronicles. So I'm just going to have to dig my heels in and finish this guy. Prompt 2 is a book that you just haven't had the time to read, and I'm actually going to go with The Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis. I actually, as a fantasy reader, am very embarrassed that I have not read The Chronicles of Narnia. I'm familiar with the story, obviously, but this was also on my Classics TBR, so it is a series that I do want to get to. Maybe read one book at a time. I have a feeling they won't take me long to get through, but I'm a little bit embarrassed that I haven't ever read any of the books in the series. The next prompt is a book that you haven't yet read because it's a sequel, and I have a handful of books. I talked about the series that I want to prioritize in 2025. I did a video about that, so I'll link that up in the cards as well as in the description box. But those are all the series that I'm in the middle of, so I'll just briefly touch on some of them. We have the last book in Stephanie Garber's Once Upon a Broken Heart, which is A Curse for True Love, which is a YA fantasy. These books are not very hard to get through, and they're super fun, super cute, and I probably need to finish this soon. We have With Blood Upon the Sand by Bradley Ballou, which is the second book in the Song of the Shattered Sands series, which is a desert fantasy, and this is another book that I do want to prioritize in 2025. I've already downloaded the audiobook, so I do plan on getting to this series. Prompt 4 is a book you haven't read yet because it's new, and I do own this book. It's downstairs, but it is The Lofting Fountain, and this is a YA fantasy, like a dark YA fantasy, and I received an art copy of this a couple of months ago. Its release date was December 31st, so it just came out yesterday. I'm filming this on January 1st. So it is a book I would like to prioritize at some point. Obviously, it just came out, so I haven't got into it. Prompt 5 is a book that is written by an author you read previously but didn't really like, and I'm going to go with The 10,000 Doors of January by Alex E. Harrow. I read Starling House by the same author, I think maybe last year, maybe the year before, and I was really disappointed in this book. I think I gave it 2 stars. It has made me very hesitant to pick up The 10,000 Doors of January because a lot of times I won't pick up another book by an author if I have like a negative or bad experience the first time around, but I do want to give her another chance. Prompt 6 is a book that is on your TBR pile that you're just not in the mood to read. I'm going to go with Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro. I have wanted to read this book for the longest time, but I know that it is a heavy read and it's very character-oriented. I saw the movie version of this years ago, and I've already kind of forgotten what the whole story is about, but I know it is a sci-fi or speculative fiction story that follows a group of characters that are clones so that their organs and things like that can be used, I guess, in the event that the original person gets sick or other people get sick. I don't really remember, but it just follows 4 characters as they are clones and they grow up in this world where this is legal, and what happens to their lives, and also their dynamics between all of them and their friendship and relationships and all of that. It sounds like a heavy read. I've heard a lot of good things about it, but it's just one that I've never taken the plunge to read. Prompt 7 is a book that's on your TBR and you haven't read it yet because it's enormous, and this is going to sound horrible, but I'm going to go with Babylon's Ashes or the Expanse series by James S.A. Corey. This is an adult sci-fi series. It's 10 books long. This is book 6. I'm halfway through. I really just need to finish this series. I really do like it, and it got really interesting finally with our characters and the gates into this other part of the universe. And I just, every time I think of a book to read, I'm like, I could read an Expanse book. My library has the audiobooks, and I just never do because they are so big and so long, but they really are such a good series. The next prompt is a book that you bought just because of the cover, and I'm going to go with When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. I was actually going to buy this book anyway because a friend of mine recommended it to me, and I was at the bookstore and I had like the mass market paperback in hand, and my husband said, no, just get the special edition with the sprayed edges and it has the artwork inside. So while I didn't pick this book up just because of the artwork, I did decide to get this specific edition because of the artwork. And the last prompt is a book on your TBR that you find the most intimidating. And I'm going to go with Children of Time by Adrian Tchaikovsky, which is an adult sci-fi. And I read Service Model by him and had some issues with it. While I did appreciate how intelligently he wrote his dry humor and irony, I just struggled with getting through Service Model, and now I'm scared to read Children of Time. And I've heard great things about the series, but I've also heard just negative things about the series, and I think this is a first contact type series. I just know with sci-fi, like, I either love it or I hate it, I understand it or I don't, and I really want to love this author because he is so popular. All right, you guys, that is it for the intimidating TBR tag. Let me know in the comments some of your responses to these prompts, or maybe tell me how your TBR pile is looking. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in another video soon. Goodbye.